Yes, Bernard.
Sir Humphrey.
Yes, Bernard.
I wondered if I could have a word.
Yes, Bernard.
With both of you.
Yes, what about?
St. George's.
What now?
Well, the PM seems to be completely in the dark.
Good. Excellent. Anything else?
Well, I wondered if there was anything he doesn't know.
Well, I hardly know where to begin, Bernard.
No, I mean anything important.
Well, he has the Foreign Secretary to tell him.
Yes, I know, sir, but he seems to think the Foreign Secretary doesn't know the whole story either.
I should hope not.
Are you implying that the Prime Minister ought to know what's happening?
Well, he is the Prime Minister.
Yes, Bernard, but it's simply too dangerous to let politicians become involved with diplomacy.
Diplomacy is about surviving until the next century. Politics is about surviving until Friday afternoon.
157 independent countries in the world. We've dealt with them for years. There's hardly an MP who knows anything about any of them.
Show them a map of the world. Most of them have a job finding the Isle of Wight.
Surely politicians can't be that ignorant.
Very well, sit down, Bernard. Where is the Upper Volta?
What's the capital of Chad?
What language do they speak in Mali?
Who's the president of Peru?
What is the national religion of Cameroon?
Bernard?
Huh?
You should stand for Parliament.
No, what I mean is, if it's a democracy, shouldn't people sort of discuss things a bit?
Oh, of course, full discussion.
And shouldn't they have the facts?
Of course not. They don't want them. Facts complicate things. All that the press, the people and their elected leaders want to know is who are the goodies and who are the baddies.
The problem is that the interests of Britain nearly always involve doing deals with people that the public think are the baddies.
And not helping the goodies occasionally when it doesn't help us.
So we avoid discussion of foreign affairs. Or rather, we keep all discussion inside the Foreign Office. Then we produce one policy for the Foreign Secretary, which represents our considered view. And he can act upon it.
No options?
None.
No alternatives?
None.
What if he's not satisfied?
Well, if pressed, we look at it again.
And come up with a different view?
Of course not. We come up with the same view.
But what if he demands options?
Well, it's obvious, Bernard. The Foreign Office will happily present him with 3 options, 2 of which are, on close inspection, exactly the same.
And plus a third, which is totally unacceptable.
Like bombing Warsaw or invading France.
Better still, we occasionally encourage the Foreign Secretary to produce his own policy. Then we tell him that it will inevitably lead to World War III, perhaps within 48 hours.
I see. I'm sorry to appear stupid, but...
Oh, perish the thought, Bernard.
But in my experience, ministers are somewhat concerned about the effect of policy on domestic political opinion. Now, our system doesn't seem to allow for that.
Of course not. We take the global view. We ask what's best for the world.
Well, most ministers would rather you asked, what's the Daily Mail leader going to say?
Oh, Bernard, we can't have foreign policy made by yobbos like Fleet Street editors or backbench MPs.
Or cabinet ministers.
Or cabinet ministers. We take the right decisions and let them sort out the politics later. Yes?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, come in, Mrs. Whitmore. Thank you.
And if the Foreign Secretary still won't accept the Foreign Office view...
Well, it's a free country, you can always resign.
How can you treat the Prime Minister like this? Surely he's right to worry about St. George's. After all, it is a democracy.
Not for long. This is a flash telegram. The East Yemen are preparing to invade in support of the Marxist guerrillas.
Well, that's awful.
Yes and no. It's moderately bad news for the government of St. George's, but it's very good news for the guerrillas.
What about the islanders?
Bernard, you're reacting like a politician.
Oh, I'm sorry, but what are we going to do to help them?
Nothing.
But what if St. George's appeals to us?
Well, we'll give them every support, short of help.
What if the Prime Minister insists we help them?
Then we follow the 4-stage strategy.
What's that?
A standard Foreign Office response in a time of crisis. In stage 1, we say nothing is going to happen.
Stage 2, we say something may be going to happen, but we should do nothing about it.
In stage 3, we say that maybe we should do something about it, but there's nothing we can do.
Stage 4, we say maybe there was something we could have done, but it's too late now.